Hello and welcome to Weather-weenies on a Tuesday, August the 25th. I'm Alan Holt, Ryan Breton. We are in the exclusive News Center Maine Weather-weenies streaming studios, also used for everything else we do streaming. But it feels special with
it. Does. Yeah.
Big day for me, at least. The anniversary of Harvey hitting.
Yes, which I didn't realize, obviously. I wasn't down there.
It'd be like if you were throwing out a big blizzard.
Right.
I just wouldn't be able to recall it. But yeah, it was just it was a mega.
So
storm.
obviously people generally here would be aware that like Houston got slammed with a lot of rain.
60 inches.
So where you were in Corpus
crazy.
Christi was much farther down the coast, right?
It's about a 3.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
Going 75. That's the speed limit up there or down there, I guess. And so the storm hits Rockport, Texas, as a robust and strengthening Category 4 hurricane, which was just insane. Like the amount.
Just pull up the map.
Yeah. So you see Houston and South. We would call that the Upper Texas Gulf Coast or the Southeast Texas Gulf Coast, and then
Corpus Christi's there, Rockport's there.
Yep. So, this it looks really close. Like you would think Corpus Christi would have taken the full teeth of the storm, but the wind field was really compact. So Port Aransas, Texas, which is south of Rockport.
That is,
it's basically right between Rockport and Corpus Christi, a big spring break town. They got crushed, 120 sustained on the winds. I think there was a measurement. The Dow, they'll plant that when they're chasing tornadoes. I think they had one.
Doppler on wheels.
Yeah, they had one in Rockport that sampled a 180 mile an hour gust.
So that just all stayed east of you, right?
Barely. My apartment.
So basically, if the eye came into Corpus Christi, you would have gotten
10 miles, maybe.
Yeah.
10 to 15 miles. I could see across Corpus Christi Bay devastation.
Yeah.
And my apartment, it was unlivable, the floor above and below mine. I was in the middle floor. My window held.
Oh, wow.
I cleared everything off my balcony.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did or didn't, but their windows were broken, gone.
And how strong were the winds where
it was
you were?
85 sustained.
So that's still strong.
It was Cat 1.
Yeah. But sustained, not gusts.
You know what? No, I think that might have been a gust.
Okay.
That might have been a gust.
I feel like it's always hard with these things. They talk, when they classify them as maximum sustained winds.
Yeah.
And in reality, very few people will feel that sustained.
It's so localized.
Yeah.
That storm was it felt like it was going to be worse than it was, covering it from where we were. But the gradient was
so how far up did your coverage area go? So you were here.
So if you zoom in, I don't know how far, about to there.
Yeah.
And
then you went south too?
It's about to there.
Yeah. Wow, that was pretty good.
And then it goes in as far as the I-37 marker. Yeah. But what was interesting about the storm is that we didn't get a ton of rain. We were worried about rain, but once it went in, it did whatever it was just on its own. It didn't have any steering, so there was no way to predict exactly where the center would go. It went to Houston. That's where all the big rains went. But because it was so strong, it went into this town called Refugio, which is well inland, and it produced Cat 3 winds.
Wow.
Way in, and that town got crushed. And anyway,
how are the winds around Houston? Was it just tropical?
It was tropical. It was just tropical.
Yeah,
storm.
I just remember it was all the rain.
It was. I-10 looked like a river.
Yeah,
it looked like you couldn't see other than the interstate. They have the signs over. It just looked like a river. And all the boats came out to help, but it was a mega bad storm, down there.
Well, and that goes to show what can happen at this time of the year. And
it's been really quiet.
It's been amazingly quiet in the Atlantic. This one's now been upgraded
that's
to
gonna
a high
go.
chance.
That's gonna. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's Invest 96.
Okay.
I was looking at it this morning. It looks like once it curves, there's a big Azores high.
Yeah,
we were talking about.
And also just looking at this, generally speaking, for it to get, it would need to be in here So, like, if it's up here, the odds of it curving are usually pretty good, right?
Just depends on the high.
Yeah, but almost like if you have a storm here, unless there's some exceptional high, like the one that brought the storm into the
If
Carolinas.
there's like a strong Bermuda high.
Right. Was it Helene that took this weird track?
Helene it took the west side of Florida.
Okay. So
it went up the western side.
What's the one that I'm
Florida.
thinking of that went like this into the Carolinas? I forget the name.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Dorian was weird.
Yeah, there was one that took a funky track, like to get something this far out and have it not recurve was unusual.
I feel like it's just all about the high.
Yeah.
Like wherever that high is, it just like they ride the periphery so much.
But almost always, if you want to get it
climatology,
toward the Gulf, it's got to be in here.
Yeah.
Or like here, if it were to take this northern thing, it'll find whatever weakness exists.
There's weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no,
I gotta Google what
the Carolina. How long ago was it?
It was I was working for sure.
So within the last 10 years.
Rare track hurricane.
I feel like it wouldn't have. Was it Florence?
Maybe Florence track.
We're just kind of looking on.
Giving me track and field.
Right.
It was Florence.
That was it? Okay.
It was Florence.
It wasn't crazy strong. It like weakened a lot, I think, right before.
I think landfall. So. We had people down there. Clay Gordon, who worked here, went down, but that did, and this isn't going to be exact, but it was something like this into the Carolinas. It was a lot of rain. We had Clay Gordon, who was an anchor here. He went with Zach Blanchard, who worked here to cover for our Carolina stations.
Oh, okay.
And where they were, they just had a lot of flooding rain. They were inland though. I don't think they were at the coast.
Yeah. See all the Outer Banks probably got.
But I just remember that was such an odd track.
Yeah. You want to see. I mean, the climate says they're gonna find that curve at some point, especially with the one like
just
that.
With some type of blocking high that happened. So we'll see how that pans out, but.
I don't think it's of concern, but it looks like that'll probably be the next one to develop. I think we're on the D name storm.
Let's see.
It's been so long. Right. Cristobal was the last one.
Oh my gosh! Look at what the D
I know. This
Dolly,
which is interesting.
Yeah, given Dolly Parton
we just found out a couple hours ago.
Passed away, which is very sad. I didn't even realize that was the D name.
By the way, she wrote some like songs that you wouldn't realize she wrote.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think I Will Always Love You.
Yep, that was her.
She wrote that, but Whitney Houston like blew it up.
Right.
So, and there's a lot like that from Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Tremendous loss. Such a good person, too.
And genius, a musical genius. Right.
Yeah. Weather-wise, kind of interesting today. I'll put the wind stream lines on here, and you can see the sea breeze effect on the satellite. In that there are no clouds on the mid-coast.
Wow.
And all the cumulus clouds popped inland with just a few spotty showers. There was one thunderstorm.
Was it down east?
Washington County.
Okay, yep.
But most other places we've held this sea breeze in.
It's been really nice at the coast today.
Yeah, it definitely has.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's going to be great. This area of high pressure builds in. And we're in good shape tomorrow. And then, honestly, the daytime on Thursday doesn't look that bad either.
A little more humid, probably more clouds, but the rain may hold off till after sundown.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and if there is anything during the day, it's probably New Hampshire or near the border or up in northwestern Maine. For viewing the partial eclipse, which we talked about yesterday, this is midnight. And
cue the sad trumpet.
Yeah, it's going to be very challenging, but there may be some holes in spots, which are like, you're just on luck at that point.
Yeah, it's a little after midnight, the max eclipse time. It's not even a full lunar eclipse, so...
Actually, you put together
there was
yesterday.
One. Well, I did do the Debbie Downer clouds.
But that's all right. You got the phases on it, right?
I do, yeah.
So this would be the phases. So... around midnight, if there are some breaks, that'd be good. But realistically, a lot of places it'll be
and it might be like that where you can faintly see it.
Right, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And then for Friday, I know we're almost out of time, but Friday does not look bad. It's got some promise. We may have some low clouds, especially in the morning, and a few showers or a rumble around. But there are some models that break, especially the western half of the state, into some sun in the afternoon. And if that were to happen, it would be warm and humid. So Friday's got a little promise, and then the weekend still looks good too.
The weekend looks great. I mean, the cool nights, mild afternoon.
Right.
That's the jam for me, at least.
And I mentioned Alan when you get in. Early next week's kind of uncertain. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're like on the edge of a ridge that's to our southwest, so there may be some disturbances that come through, but that doesn't look like washout material either.
No, and it's not on the weekend. Which,
right. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, right? Oh, man. Well, are we done? Are we out of time already?
Glad you brought up Harvey, though, because that
was random. I didn't mean to hijack.
No, that was good. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. If you got questions about Harvey, what it was like, whatever,
or if you had an experience, maybe
there's
people have family members. Yeah.
I would be curious to hear people's Bob experience,
right?
Like just what that was like. A lot of people were chiming in on social media, but
I feel like in Maine, it obviously was the last one to hit, but it was really much more of a southern New England big deal. Like my impression would be the windstorms that we've had in recent Octobers, like 17, 18. We got another one maybe in 19 or 20. Like those probably mirrored what Bob did here. But like as far as storm surge and flooding and wind, it was like the South Coast, the Cape, whereas we got more tropical storm type stuff.
Yeah,
but still, would love to hear any thoughts.
It's the perspective is always interesting. Weather-weenies at newscentermaine.com if you want to share the perspective. If not, we'll see you next time.